So on January 8th, MrBeast, the online sensation, messaged me to ask if I thought the new season of his Amazon Prime show, Beast Games, was better than season 1. He said he took a lot of feedback from my video and videos like it, and that he'd love to see a review of season 2. I kind of don't believe that MrBeast actually watched my entire hour-and-a-half long video about the first season of his show. I'm not throwing shade there, I just feel like he's a busy guy and might not care that much, but it was still cool to be thought of in that way, and I'll forever hold my conversation with MrBeast close to my heart. Anyway, this video is for you, MrBeast. I hope you enjoy it, though I have to admit, I really did not like season 2 of Beast Games. Episode 1. The Crunchening. So MrBeast comes out in his classic MrBeast sweatshirt suit, and he tells us that this season has a special gimmick. It's brains versus brawn. 100 of the strongest people around versus 100 of the smartest.
Will it be brains or biceps that wins Beast Games?
And just so you know, that group of smart people includes folks with some pretty remarkable credentials. They have a chess coach in the house. They don't say if he's a master or grandmaster or whatever, but like, you know, that's a chess coach. They got a crypto content creator over here.
Yeah, if it's $1 million, I'm going to take $1 million.
I didn't even know guys like that needed 5 million Beast Bucks. Okay, I'm being too mean too fast, so let me give 2 compliments. First, on principle, I actually like this idea. It's fun to give your show a narrative through line, particularly as we're getting to know the contestants. And when I saw it was Strongs versus Smarts, you know, I got a little excited. Who will win? The nerds or the hard bodies? The gays or the straights? The Asian Americans, the Caucasians, the Latinos, or the African Americans?
They have been divided into 4 very unique tribes: Asian American, Caucasian, Latino, and African American.
I don't know. We'll see. Compliment number 2, the first game is fine. They take 100 strong people and basically make them climb a rope and pick up a weight and come back up. And I'm not saying that's genius or anything, but it is better than nothing, and the first games of season 1 were actually nothing.
In order for your team to move on, someone must sacrifice themselves.
Also, the weights that people have to lift are actually proportional to their body weights, so it's not totally unfair to women. It feels as though MrBeast is atoning for his past sins, for the time he gave his players a push-up competition and sent the weakest woman right home. Hey. So, when I recorded and edited this part of the video, I hadn't yet seen the behind-the-scenes footage for Beast Games Season 2. And if you watch that footage, you can see that, as it turns out, they did end the first game with a push-up competition. There was a push-up competition.
Down, up, down, up.
The first game didn't work out so good. Too many people lost it. And so in order to get enough strong people into the show, they had a quick little, you know, gender segregated push-up competition.
This will never make the show.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that. I'm not going to be deducting points for this push-up contest. And I'll tell you why. I didn't even know about it when I saw the episode. I didn't know that it was around, and it didn't bother me any. And to add one extra point here, I approve of the artifice. I think that push-up competition was cut for a reason, and that MrBeast should try to cut everything that's bad about the show and lie about exactly what happens. That's fine. Lie and lie for all I care. So this game was fine. I'm not going to deduct any points, but I want you to know that I know that yes, there was a push-up competition. I know. I'm going to give this rope game a 7 out of 10. That's the Beast Games weighted score. There's some suspense. There's some tears. It's so slippery, says a woman to MrBeast.
It's so slippery.
It's $5 million, says MrBeast to the woman.
It's $5 million!
I know, says the woman to MrBeast.
I know.
Game 2. Beast takes his 100 geniuses and makes them quickly memorize and reproduce a multicolored block tower.
Is this? Oh my god. No, this is scary.
And here, I think, is where things start to go just a little downhill. MrBeast speeds us through his block laying process. The audience isn't given an opportunity to see if we can remember the sequence of blocks.
And last, Seriously?
It would be like if Regis Philbin didn't tell us the questions he was asking his contestants and instead just cut to a question asking montage, and every so often was just like, this guy is so good at trivia, he's so smart. Now I know what you're gonna say, Big Joel, do you really want to watch MrBeast monotonously place 10 blocks of different colors so you can see if you would be able to memorize the sequence? Like, would that version of the show really be better? And the answer to that question is no, but see, that's probably why I wouldn't include the game in my game show. Like, if the game is so boring that we have to cut past it extremely fast, then it must not be too exciting of a game then. Anyway, it all leads to a situation where the quote-unquote game is basically just watching a bunch of people building a block tower.
What are the last two?
Oh my God.
What are the last two? Last two.
It's a 3 out of 10. After this point, the remaining contestants wander into Beast City, which looks just as beautiful and scenic as it did in the last season. I mean, as MrBeast correctly and repeatedly points out, this shit blows my mind.
This is gonna blow your mind. Beast City is back. And it's going to blow your mind.
There's a Starbucks open there 24/7 now too, and they get limitless free Starbucks drinks.
That is a real Starbucks with real baristas in it.
And I can't help but imagine what it would be like to myself live in a place so sweet and abundant.
This is amazing.
After like 10 full minutes of watching people adjust to their new Beast lives, we move on to Game 3. Beast takes everyone into a room, and it's revealed that 10 new contestants might be joining the show. Well, not new exactly, they're all notable Beast Games Season 1 players, including Jeff, the guy who won $10 million last year.
And of course, the Season 1 champion is back.
They all stand with $100,000 briefcases, and if anyone wants to, they can take the money, leave the show, and allow the old player to return. So I hate this game for many reasons. I actually counted, and there are 4, so let me tell you the truth. Number 1, we were told that the gimmick of this season was strong people versus smart people. I don't know if you remember that, but it was a big part of the advertising for the game. But now that gimmick is just made a lot weaker. There are 10 new random guys, 10% of the contestants on the show who have nothing to do with its supposed point. Number 2, it feels too early. I understand the producers of this show probably wanted to give the audience some familiar faces to latch onto, but the problem is dumping a bunch of new people in the show isn't interesting when there are already 100 other people. I think it would just be way more impactful and exciting to see these contestants introduced later on. Number 3, it's an unearned Beast Games victory lap. Like, does Beast Games really have all-stars yet? Does it have fan favorites that everyone just needs to see again? This is the 2nd season of the show. Could we relax? Like, wow, we got Kareem back, the nasty manipulator from last season. Let's get mad at him all over again.
My wife is number 225, the one that 406 bullied in season 1, and I'm gonna be the one to take him out.
Wow, JC is here. He took a lot of money in the first season. I wonder if all the other contestants will forgive him. Who cares? These are not interesting people to me.
JC, I'm gonna let you back in, but make sure you leave some money for the rest of the people.
Thank you.
Number 4, it's not a game. Of course there are 10 people out of 100 who would willingly take $100,000 to leave Beast Games. There's no tension or intrigue here, and it's obvious that the only reason Jimmy included this sequence was so that he could justify throwing these Season 1 people back in the show. It takes like 12 full minutes to get through this process. It ends the first episode and begins the second, and it's all totally pointless. It gets a 2 out of 10.
Let's bring back the winner.
Oh my gosh!
Anyway, now we're on to episode 2 proper, and let me tell you, this time, the Beast is gonna go crazy. He lets his contestants choose from 4 separate games. A game of balls, a game of balance, a game of bluff, and a game of blocks. And we'll just go through these in the order that the show does. Game 1, balls. Basically, it's Dodgeball, but with the added twist that the floor, like, splits people into teams. It's hard to explain, but you're seeing it right now, so you do get it, I imagine. It's pretty good, honestly.
He drilled her.
The best thing about this game is that a lot of people are in one alliance and demand that nobody try to get people out who are in that alliance.
It's exactly 9 of the strong team and 9 spots in the city. So we're all trying to make it back.
People are just keeping her in. Drop.
Drop.
But this one guy, Akira, who was in the last season, just gets people out randomly, and it's always good to see how affronted everyone is by him playing the game. Of course, this puts a huge target on his back, and he gets tagged with a ball just a few rounds in.
I think Akira is finito. You are done, brother.
Whoa.
Next round. See ya, Akira.
It's telling, I guess, that MrBeast constructed a game where playing it in the most fun, exciting way possible gets you sent home immediately. I'm sure nothing like that will happen again in this episode, and this dodgeball game is pretty fun, so, you know, it gets an 8 out of 10.
If I have to be their sword to get them back into the city, I will take people out one at a time.
Oh.
Game 2, balance. MrBeast shocks me and his contestants. See, everyone thought that balance would be a game of strength, but no, this one's about intelligence.
You all chose this challenge and your opponent because you thought this would be a game of strength. But believe it or not, this is actually a game of intelligence.
Unfortunately, what he said there isn't true. This isn't a game of strength, but it's also not a game of intelligence. It's luck. It's a luck game. There's a heart on a scale, and the contestants have to take turns putting rocks on the other side, hoping that the weight of the rocks isn't greater than the weight of the heart. Now, is there some strategy to this? I don't know. Maybe. Some contestants care about where the rocks are placed and want to distribute the weight in a smart way. I guess that could have some impact.
A lot of this game is where you're going to place this on the platform. It's not just about the weight, but it's how the weight is going to be distributed.
But at the end of the day, I mean, it's not that deep, is it? Players plop rocks on the scale and hope that the rock pile isn't too heavy.
The more weight that gets added, the harder this is going to get.
At some point, someone's going to put on a rock that's too heavy and the heart's going to break, and that process doesn't feel to me like it involves a lot of intelligence. It's more like Hot Potato than anything. It's a game that's quite similar to the classic game Hot Potato, though it actually might be less demanding than Hot Potato is. It's a 3 out of 10. Game 3, Bluff. The contestants get a sticker on the back of their heads, and they have to rely on other contestants to tell them what color the sticker is. They have to move to a circle that's the same color as their head sticker, and so it's an opportunity for the players to bluff and scheme against each other. As it turns out, though, the players essentially refuse to play the game.
Blue team, you are all safe.
Go, guys.
Red team, you're also safe. Green team and yellow team, you're also safe. Congrats, you have all passed. But hey, eventually you gotta start lying.
One guy is sent home on purpose, Kareem, the manipulator from last season.
I'm sorry, Kareem. You have red on the back of your head. You have been eliminated.
Oh, Kareem's out. Let's go.
It's actually kind of horrible to see so much fanfare devoted to this guy, only for him to unceremoniously be deleted within 5 minutes.
Kareem and his brother Hazem gaslit my wife on national television to get her out.
You guys.
But outside of that, everybody just helps everybody. In the end, MrBeast just has everyone play a game of chance to get rid of more players, and that's that.
Our first random elimination.
57.
Right here.
Oh no.
So I understand that it's easy to see these things in retrospect, but I do think this game was profoundly broken in design, and that it's the sort of thing that MrBeast could have and should have avoided. To put it simply, everything about the game discourages players from engaging with it as it was designed, discourages contestants from lying to each other. For one thing, the choice to bluff in this context puts an obvious target on your back. If you lie to someone about their sticker, everyone will see that you did that and maybe judge you for it. What's more, it would only take a bunch of other people correcting your lie for the person you lied to figure it out. Like, there are 30 people around. Are they all gonna lie? And if not, what was even the point of lying yourself? More importantly, the structure of Beast games clearly incentivizes players to be as pro-social as possible. I imagine that when Jimmy and his team were playtesting this game, they did so with a bunch of people who had nothing on the line. Just got some folks together and told them, have fun bluffing. And those people were probably happy to lie to each other because, they had no reason not to. But contestants on Beast games are supposed to be friends with each other. They're supposed to make alliances. 10 full minutes of the first episode was devoted to just that.
They will have to make alliances and build trust.
There we go. That's tough.
And you don't want to break the alliance, do you? That's what happened to Akira in the Dodgeball game. And just look at where he is now. No, if you're playing to win, not just win this game, but the $5 million grand prize, the best idea is to keep your head down, not look like an asshole, and hope you don't get sent home. MrBeast is upset when none of the players engage with his game. He threatens them with a game of luck as though that's somehow a worse option for them, and he's clearly disappointed.
I'm gonna give you all one more chance to play this game the way it was designed to be played. But if you guys once again refuse to lie to each other, refuse to bluff,
You'll give me no choice but to go to my plan B. And I promise you, none of you are gonna like plan B.
But you can't just ask players to make games fun for you. That's your job, Jimmy, and you didn't do a good job at it. It's a 1 out of 10.
this really breaks my heart. Shake this box really well.
All right, I'm not looking in the box. Here we go.
I have a name.
I feel sick.
Game 4, blocks. 2 teams have to race to build a tall block tower, and yeah, it's pretty good. There's nothing wrong with it.
Oh, no.
You know, I feel a bit guilty because when I don't like a game, I talk about it for a long time, but when I do like one, I skip right by it. But at the same time, I feel like that's kind of the nature of Beast games, both Season 1 and 2. Sometimes it's iconically horrible and broken in a very funny way, and sometimes you get to see people stack blocks for 5 minutes, and it's fine. The lows are low, and the highs are astronomically high. And with that, let's move on to Episode 3, Beast or Beasted. So MrBeast gets the remaining 50 people to split into groups of 5, and they have to run obstacle courses. The first 2 teams go head-to-head against each other. If anyone from a team fails to do the course, their team loses. So predictably, one of the teams immediately gets out, and that's that. So that's kind of boring, and I have to admit, I don't think the obstacle course here is that good. Like, it's not impressive in the way a Ninja Warrior course is, and it's not funny or nasty in the way a Wipeout course is.
That'll surely slow him down. No, he's still going. Even the mud can't stop Dean. This is great.
But I mean, that's fine. It has to be the sort of thing that all these people could reasonably be able to do, and it's the first race. Let's give it a 5 out of 10. Course 2. Oh, we're running on the same course again, except now it's not the whole team's racing, it's a sequence of one-on-one races.
Remember, every round is not the same.
Oh my god.
Round 2 is 1v1.
So that, you may notice, is the same thing. That's not different in an interesting way at all. I actually wouldn't have much to say about this obstacle course round at all, except for the fact that MrBeast says this right before the race.
But this isn't all physical. Make sure you use the smart people on your team to strategically choose the best competitors for each round.
And I think that ridiculous line is as good a time as any to talk about one of the biggest and most fundamental problems with Beast Game Season 2. The whole intelligence thing is extremely stupid. I made a joke in the first minute of this video about how one of the smart people is a chess coach and another one is a crypto content creator, but they do have more types of guys than that. There's a woman who can do math in her head really quick. There's another woman who has the same IQ as Einstein.
I have a super high IQ, about the same as Albert Einstein.
In many cases, people qualify as smart because they have some kind of advanced degree. This guy is a doctorate. This woman has 8 degrees. This pre-med student did really well on the MCATs. This guy is a research scientist at Harvard. Now look, all of these things are impressive and great. It's cool to have a PhD. I don't have one. But when push comes to shove, what Beast game would a researcher in behavioral science be really good at? How is your pre-med knowledge relevant to the Beast game experience?
I have a 4.0 GPA and I scored a near perfect score on my MCAT.
They call me the human calculator.
You can imagine a best case scenario for Beast games, one where the strong people are given tons of physical tasks and the smart people are given lots of puzzles. Even that idea would be pretty silly in my opinion. I doubt that having a doctorate degree or being able to do fast math is all that predictive of your ability to solve basic puzzles. But at least then you'd have a case for the show being strong versus smart, right?
You're witnessing the first time in human history the 100 strongest and the 100 smartest have ever ever been in the same room.
But most of the time, not all, but most, the show doesn't even do that. The strong and fit Chads are constantly rewarded, and rewarded in direct ways. They play dodgeball, they're strong enough to lift blocks over their head and climb a tower. But where is the challenge for the weak chess coach? Bluffing or refusing to bluff? Choosing a rock that you think is light enough that it won't destroy your heart thing? The strong people get to run an obstacle course, which is famously a physical task. The smart people are important too, though, because they can choose who runs the course.
But this isn't all physical. Make sure you use the smart people on your team to strategically choose the best competitors for each round.
Pretty stimulating stuff, I have to admit. You need to have a pretty high IQ to choose who runs the obstacle course. Anyway, this course gets a 4 out of 10 because it's the same as the last game. Now we're on to round 3. So it's the same course, but now each team elects a captain, and that captain has to win their race.
Pick a captain. Each team is going to choose a captain you trust to represent your team in a 1v1.
Which is honestly pretty crazy. There's a lengthy sequence where MrBeast asks the contestants if they want to switch teams.
I'm going to give your teammates an opportunity to switch teams. If someone on blue raises their hand, they'll go straight over to white team.
For the record, these teams were made 5 minutes ago for the purpose of running this obstacle course. There's nothing at stake in the teams, and it wouldn't matter at all if one of them did switch teams, but thank God, nobody does. 3 out of 10. Course 4. Right, so it's the same course, and it's basically the same rules as round 1, where if anybody falls into the drink, their whole team loses. Except now, if anybody wants to, they can grab a few $100,000 and bring it to the end of the race. Nobody does this, though. Of course they don't, and somebody just falls into the water, and the race ends. 2 out of 10. Course 5. It's the same course, except now people have batons they can use to launch one another into the water. You'd think that would be kind of fun, but it isn't at all because everyone's really judgy about it.
We're playing a fair game. We're not taking our sticks. We don't want to play like that.
The only guy who pushes anyone into the water is called a villain over and over again.
Ian's a villain. Ian's a villain.
You should have just let him through, man.
You're real tough. You're real tough.
And that's because Beast Game players hate fun and hate it for good reason, and MrBeast refuses to understand this fact and design around it. Anyway, this round gets a 1 out of 10 because it's identical to the other 4 rounds. According to Jimmy Donaldson, Beast Game Season 1 cost more than $100 million.
Is it more than 100 million?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Of course.
I assume that the second season was also very expensive. Despite this fact, this episode spends more than 30 minutes on a single obstacle course that looks like it comes directly from MrBeast's weird amusement park in Saudi Arabia. It's not great. But now that that's done, we're on to the final game of the episode. It's a rehash of the first season game where they got players to nominate captains, and those captains were given the opportunity to take an ever-increasing bribe.
Attention contestants, meet me at the sandpit.
I don't have much to say about this because I've already kind of reviewed the game in my last video, but there is one funny thing. Beast says this right at the beginning, the money is going to go so high that unlike the last season, someone is definitely going to take this money.
This money counter is going to go so high that one of you is definitely going to take the prize this year.
Oh my God.
He's definitely implying that the pot is going to be higher this time, but it isn't. The money still caps out at $1 million, so I have no idea what Jimmy is talking about. Is he lying? I don't get it.
$1 million!
Anyway, I don't know. This was probably one of the most interesting things in the first season, but seeing it a second time, it is kind of unwatchable.
Gosh, you're now a millionaire.
JT, you slimy. I'd have gave you some money if you was that desperate.
And that's particularly true because MrBeast, who's seemingly desperate for someone to take the bribe this time, pads the challenge out by shouting at people about how much they should take the money.
JT, you said that you just bought a house with your girlfriend Tori. You said that if you became a millionaire, you would love to create a better life for your family.
Now remember all that when you're deciding whether or not to press that button.
I don't care. I don't care if they should take the money. If they're not intrinsically motivated enough to take $1 million, I don't want to hear somebody nagging them about it. It's a 3 out of 10. Hey, sorry. So I just need to talk to you real quick. So one thing that comes up later on in this video, but which I forgot to bring up here, is that when JT takes the $1 million bribe, a woman walking away who was booted off the show goes, "Greed is idolatry."
Ladies and gentlemen, you learned a very important lesson. Greed is idolatry.
Which is such a perverse and kind of upsetting moment, right? Because this woman, she literally won $1.8 million on the last season of Beast Games, you know? So that's crazy. But what really matters to me about this scene, and what I've been watching and rewatching and reflecting about for a while now, really, is that when the woman says greed is idolatry, what seems to play is a kind of fart sound effect, a kind of farting sound effect.
Greed is idolatry.
Greed is idolatry, she says, and then it goes.
Greed is idolatry. Peace.
Do you hear that that sounds like a big, juicy, wet fart? Okay, so back to the video. Bye. Episode 4 of Beast Games was probably the one I was most excited for. It's a Survivor crossover episode where some contestants get to compete for a private island. It has Jeff Probst and everything, so, you know, that's kind of fun. In the end, though, I don't know. I found the whole thing just a bit disappointing. Game 1. Before we get to the island, we have to determine who's going to get the opportunity to play for it. And you know what that means, don't you? Cannonball treasure hunt. Everyone in Beast City searches for one of 10 cannonballs that they need to shoot out of a cannon to get to the island.
This one's for my wife.
So I don't know if you can call this a game exactly. It's more like noise. It somehow reminds me of Blippi, the iconic children's entertainer, though. And for that reason, I will give it a 5 out of 10.
Cowabunga, dudes.
Okay, we're on the island. We have our competitors. What's a better way to start this bad boy off than with a classic Survivor obstacle course? So by the standards of Beast Games, I think this is a great challenge. There are multiple elements. There are a few puzzles for the smarties. MrBeast says that the Survivor crew made this obstacle course.
It wouldn't be a Survivor collab if we didn't let them build the first challenge.
Oh my God. What?
And that makes sense to me. Yes, it's less interesting than most Survivor courses. Like, look at the structure in some of these. Look at how they sometimes use the environment. Look at how much more aesthetically pleasing these are. But you can't win them all, right? This gets a 9 out of 10. Game 3 is a classic Survivor game. Get a grip. The people from the team who won the obstacle course clings onto poles until they fall down. It's perfectly fine, except for the fact that before the end of the challenge, MrBeast inexplicably bribes the players with $50,000 to get one of them down from their pole.
$50,000? Man, wow.
To me, that just ruins things a little bit. There is a purity to grabbing a pole and trying to stay on it for as long as possible, and that elegance and suspense is ruined with the bribe. What does this accomplish? How did MrBeast actually think that this bribe would improve the game in any way?
Carl, bring it on in. Woo!
It's just gratuitous and kind of thoughtless, and so for me it gets a 4 out of 10. And here we come to the final game. I'm not sure what to call it. The two people who hung to their pole for the longest get to beg for the island, and the other island dwellers get to choose who gets it. One of the island dwellers is Ian, who is basically just some guy, I guess.
This is a dream. Right here. Not only Final Tribal Council, but it's Beast Games Tribal Council.
And the other is JC, who famously took $650,000 in the last season that he was supposed to share with the rest of the Beast crew. Already you might spot a problem here. There is no suspense in this vote. Everybody is constantly talking about how JC stole money, and so there's just no reason for people to give him a $1.8 million island.
It's not 50-50. Like, no one's going to vote for JC. It's basically like 95% chance at 1.8 million.
I can't blame Jimmy for the way his games turned out, but I do think we should blame him for the fact that this sequence is like 12 minutes long and pointless and deeply boring.
I mean, at this point, what would the $1.8 million prize help you further accomplish?
So the 1.8 allows me to set my life up
for my children.
The reason why a tribal council on Survivor is fun is because people have things to talk about, strategies and drama and stuff. They're also fun because Jeff is there and so deeply invested in the story of his contestants.
So Christy, I'm guessing you're the one who told him no haikus?
But only because I love him so much.
I watched some Survivor for the sake of this video. It had been like a decade since I'd last seen an episode, and I was just blown away by how much Jeff leads the conversation, how much he knows about the players.
You're sitting on the hammock thinking haikus, but how do you do that with your life on the line?
Even in the last episode of the season, where the jury decides who wins the show, they have conversations about who played the best games, who backstabbed whom, and it's a reward for the audience who watched a full season of this show and got to know these people.
When I look at your game, I can't help but make this comparison between your strategic play and the behavior of a dog.
But what did these guys, Ian and JC, have to talk about? Just how much they want the island.
I worked at a corporate America job for 14 years. 6 to 7 days a week for 14 years.
How much they deserve the island, and how when they win the island, they'll really help out the other contestants in some nebulous way. It's not interesting. The only thing that makes the sequence remotely watchable is that JC is there and has to atone for taking his money.
I've had a lot of time, Jeff, to reflect on my decisions.
But that was last season, and it was overplayed then. I just can't look at this shot of JC surrounded by burning money again. I've seen it enough times. These people just have nothing going on, no relationships with each other that can actually be explored, and nobody to really talk to them. MrBeast is no Jeff Probst. He just sits there and forces people to make annoying speeches for a long time.
It's a lot to take in, but appreciate you being open and transparent with everyone.
Thank you.
It's not good. It's a 2 out of 10. And I guess that's my thought on the episode as a whole. It's probably better than your average Beast Game app, but it just kind of made me think about Survivor, and the comparison is not very flattering. Episode 5, Beast This. So episode 5 just has one game, and it's a game we saw in the first season. The contestants get into groups of 3 and walk into the cube, and one of them has to self-eliminate.
Just like in season 1, 3 people are going to enter each cube, and only 2 are gonna come out.
As was the case in the last season, most of these groups just play a game of chance or whatever. But this episode is interesting because it has the highest high of the show so far, and perhaps the lowest low. We'll begin with the high. One group decides to draw cards to see who will self-eliminate, and the guy in that group cooks not 1, but 2 decks in order to get the person he wants off the show.
Took a deck of cards, ordered it 2 through ace, and I had an idea to kind of front load the deck and understand where the highest cards were. I think she understood that, shuffled it a couple times. I had already pre-prepared another deck of cards.
It's really fun and nasty, and I like seeing players actually engage strategically in these challenges. It's not just this guy's little trick that I like though, but the fact that nobody judges him over it. That's not totally true. In the reunion episode, they trot out the woman that Jack betrayed and try to get him to feel bad.
I've always worked 2 jobs. You know, I work hard. I'm a hard worker, but I've never had the money to really, be financially secure.
But in the actual show, nobody says anything. It's a rare moment where a contestant is left to play the game in a way that's conniving and fun, and I value that about it. And if this was the entire episode, if everyone was equally scheming and horrible, I'd love it. But see, therein lies the problem. In this episode, not 1, not 2, but 3 separate cubes are resolved because one of the people already got money from the show in some way, and so didn't feel right taking a spot in future episodes. Jeff already got $10 million, so he self-eliminates.
I mean, he's turning down a spot in the top 13 for you 2.
Thank you, and I promise that we will fight as hard as we can. This means so much to us.
The guy who took $1 million bribe in the bribe challenge, he self-eliminates.
I feel like I took John out already. I can't take you guys out too. I got mine already, bro.
And the guy who won the island, Ian, he self-eliminates.
It's official. Wow.
True, genuine human being. Deserves the world.
So here's my thought, and you can tell me if this is controversial. This is actually your big flashpoint in the video. Everybody gets to comment on if they agree with me on this one. And I hope to see the people who agree with me, I hope to see them go, rah, rah, Big Joel. And I hope to see the people who disagree with me go, not this time, honey. So here's my thought. If somebody wins so much money that them being on your show is totally pointless, why not make it so they're not on your show? Why keep the person who took the big bribe or won the island on the show? Just kick them off when they win, you know? They'd no doubt be elated to take that deal. Why bring Jeff back, who already won $10 million last season? He said when he left that he wanted to be a good steward for season 2.
I wanted to help make sure there's a good steward for season 2, and I think hopefully I've done my job.
Yeah. Let me know if we should bring him back next season. Until then.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate you.
Okay. You know, I don't think we need one of those. Instead, my idea, again, tell me if you disagree with a rah-rah Big Joel or a not this time, honey. But my idea is we should just have the people playing the game play the game. Like, they should all be there to win the game. But no, 3 cubes out of the 7 total cubes are completely pointless. It ruins the game and it sucks the fun right out of the room. I know this came up in my video on the last season, but I am just so tired of the over-the-top moralism of Beast games. The fact that we, as an audience, are constantly asked to care about the people on the show being virtuous and self-sacrificing. Game shows are selfish. Beast Games is selfish. It is a show about winning money for yourself. I don't need to watch a bunch of millionaires virtue signal about how they don't want to proceed in the show, and the fact that I have to see it is not the fault of those millionaires, but of the production itself. I shouldn't have to watch a person who's on Beast Games to win $5 million say that greed is idolatry when somebody takes a bribe.
Greed is idolatry.
And I shouldn't have to watch this. I'm giving the whole cube game a 4 out of 10. And you know what? I don't give a fuck if everybody in my audience says, not this time, honey. I don't give a single fuck. Episode 6. Beast takes the remaining 13 contestants and gives them 1 strong guy challenge and 1 smart guy challenge. And the winners of those games get to decide 3 people to send home, and it's fine. In game 1, the contestants have to hold on to a rope, basically.
Who's gonna be next to fall? A smart or a strong?
They have to hold onto a rope longer than the other people. And you know, I'm not offended by that. I do think it's kind of sad that the Survivor episode just 2 eps before also had a lengthy challenge where contestants had to hold on to a thing. But at that point, I'm just being picky, right? What do I want? A game? A special, interesting television game? That's stupid. We should all be happy with the rope dangle. It gets a 6 out of 10. Game 2 is the Smart Challenge. In it, the contestants have to memorize and walk a path. The contestants, in theory at least, have to find a balance between helping each other so that more of the path is revealed and not helping each other so that, you know, the other contestants fall off and don't make it to the end. This is okay, I think. It's pretty similar to a game in Beast Game Season 1, which is itself clearly based on Squid Game, but that's fine, you know? What am I expecting? A new original fun TV game? Fuck out of here. My one real criticism, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, is that MrBeast once again designs the game so that people will play it in a boring way. As I said, the whole maze is designed around the idea that you only want to help your fellow contestants to a point, but nobody actually does that, refuses to help anyone out.
Nick, go slower. Go slower. Let us confirm with you.
Nice. Let's go. Attaboy, Nick.
And that's because it would come off mean and might even jeopardize your chances on the show. After all, if a person you refuse to help wins, your name might be on their chopping block. It's boring to watch passive, nice characters, but that's all that MrBeast actually encourages.
Attaboy, Nick.
We love Nick.
Let's go, baby.
Nice, Nick.
The other thing that's funny about this game is just how stupid the smart versus strong thing comes off now. Only 3 out of the 13 remaining contestants are on the smart team, and none of them seem to have any particular advantage in this collaborative memory maze. So the gimmick is totally bust. I can't emphasize this enough. The slogan for this show is strong versus smart. It clearly implies that at some point, strong and smart people will face off against each other in some way. But this never happens, not one time, and now almost all the smart people are gone, and none of them were ever appreciably smarter than anyone else.
We now have the smartest person and the strongest person in the city.
The game gets a 5 out of 10. But here's the thing about episode 6. Despite the fact that it's not very interesting, despite the fact that its best game is just watching people hold onto a rope for the 2nd time in a row, it is, in fact, the last good episode of Beast Game Season 2. There aren't many episodes of shows that are worse than episode 7 of Beast Game Season 2. There are no games this episode, no gameplay occurs. It is instead a filler episode in a show with 10 episodes. Perhaps the right idea would be for me to skip the whole thing. After all, the whole point of this video is to talk about games. But no, what we're gonna do is zoom in. We're gonna walk through the whole thing. So after concluding the events of the last episode, smashing a few hearts, we learned that today our contestants are gonna get a little treat. Their families are here. There are 10 contestants remaining, so that's a lot of family to manage, and I honestly don't feel familiar with most of these people nearly enough to care about their moms or whatever. Like, who is this guy? His name is Corey, but I swear to God, I never saw him before this episode.
So grateful. Thank you, Lord, for bringing my family into this city.
I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure he was around, but I legitimately didn't know who he was, and so his fam reunion, it didn't land with me personally. You might say I'm being too critical here. The last season also had a family reunion when there were 10 contestants remaining, and that wasn't such a big deal. But the difference here is time. In the first season, the family stuff takes 6 minutes, and in the second season, it takes 14. They hug and cry. They eat a MrBeast feast turkey yummy dinner.
Oh my God. Wow. This looks so good.
They have not one, but 2 ads. One for Starbucks and one for T-Mobile.
So crazy.
Why is it 24/7 Starbucks?
Really?
Yeah. Oh, Aubrey's dream. Raise your hand if you don't have T-Mobile. Any of the families that came here. Turn the city magenta. What if I told you T-Mobile heard you're coming here? You guys want Feastables?
Yeah. Oh, here's my favorite. I'll take both of this. I like that. It's peanut butter.
So much peanut butter, right?
The people all say goodbye to their families, and this sequence alone takes 3 minutes. It's genuinely unreal.
We got way more time than I thought we would.
Well, it was a pleasure that we got to spend some time with you guys.
Thank you, too, for making the trek out here.
Oh, yeah, it was
Thanks
great.
for having us.
But okay, now we're getting into the good part, the game. We're 24 minutes in, so 3, 2, 1, blast off.
3, 2, 1.
MrBeast takes everyone to a field to bury them alive. Everyone gets buried except for one guy, Nick, who they made a captain.
The best part of this is Nick still doesn't know what we're doing. And he won't know until they're all buried alive.
I kid you not, this burying alive sequence takes around 10 minutes. We hear MrBeast say that the burying experience is very impressive, that his goons are all very good at burying.
The guards burying all these contestants alive is a well-oiled machine. It's like a conveyor belt just shoveling dirt. This is so cool to watch.
We hear that it's a bit spooky for the contestants.
Yup, this is scary. I did not think this was going to be like this.
And we hear that while we don't know the game just yet, it's going to be very important that these people are all put in a box underground.
They don't know why, but for what we have planned, they'll need to have complete and absolute privacy.
Right, so 36 minutes in, MrBeast tells us the game. Do you guys want to take any guesses? Do you have any thoughts? Don't leave a comment, just think it to yourself. Yeah, so the game is a carbon copy of Season 1, the episode where each player, in order, gets to take whatever they want out of $1 million pot. That's the fun climax. That is why they're buried alive.
This right here is only $4,000. Visualize it.
Oh my God.
You could have 250 times that amount.
It may, minute by minute, be the worst Beast Games experience I've ever had. There was no game this episode, and so it doesn't get a score. So okay, we're on to episode 8, where we finally get the pleasure of the bribe game. So for the record, this is what I said about the secret bribe game in my original Beast Games review. So episode 8, I think, is one of the most tragic episodes of the whole series. It's just very boring and strange and unimportant, and with that dazzling sales pitch, let's crunch in. That's really quite damning. None of that is very nice. But the thing is, the game in the first season is way better than its equivalent in the second. That's largely because of time. Season 1's bribe game takes around 20 minutes in all, and the equivalent here takes around 40.
This would be your fair share. And no one in the universe would fault you for taking this.
40 minutes of watching people in their MrBeast teriyaki beef jerky coffins. It's really not good TV. In the first season, JC quickly took $650,000. It was a whole thing. And that was good because it gave the game a clear event and a clear antagonist. This man took the big money.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to put my family first.
We all have family.
Tell us what you got. I took $650,000.
Now we have to spend an endless amount of time watching everybody deliberate. Somebody takes $100K, somebody takes $250, somebody takes $60.
I'm going to take $250,000, Jim.
$250,000. It gets old fast, and there's really not much to say about it. It gets like a 3 out of 10. Episode 9, we're winding down. Things are we're tying up loose ends. So I know what you're thinking. Beast Game sure is pretty cool, but there is one fatal flaw that it has. For the most part, it just takes place in Beast City. And sure, Beast City is cool. It even has a Starbucks that everybody gets to suckle on for free.
That is a real Starbucks with real baristas in it.
But this late in the show, I think we could all use a change in scenery. And luckily, MrBeast knows just exactly where to take us. That's right. You asked for it and you got it. We're going to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So they take their Lambos to the big soundstage in Riyadh, and we have our first and only game of the episode. People have to vote who to send through for the final round.
You 10 will decide which contestants make it to the final game.
And they can bribe each other with the money they took last episode. It is precisely the same as an episode in season 1. It's genuinely kind of hard to explain how this episode feels. It has a weird claustrophobic energy to it that evades explanation. Maybe that's because it's the second time I've seen it, so any novelty that was originally there is gone for me, or maybe it's because it's just so tonally flat. For 45 minutes straight, we just watch these people bickering amongst themselves. If I give you some money, will you vote me through? I'll vote for Jongus this round if you vote for Toonglow next time.
I said I made a deal with Monica.
So what's he giving you money for?
He's like, I'll give you 15 now.
But I'm giving you 15 as well.
That's what I said.
Who are you voting for?
You.
It just blathers on, and I really don't like it.
I don't want to back you in the corner, but would there be a number I could pay you for your vote?
So you're asking how much your vote costs?
Basically, yeah.
MrBeast also tries to add some variation to the game by changing its rules in extremely unimportant ways. Like at first, everyone calls each other on the phone, but then they have to talk to each other in person in their glass cubes.
For this round, you are no longer trapped inside your pods. You'll be forced to walk to the contestants you want to talk to.
But then they all have to talk to each other in a circle, but then they can communicate whichever way they like.
If you want, you can stand in the circle here. Or we just re-plugged in all your phones and you can go to your pod and privately call someone else's pod. Or you can follow someone else into their pod and talk to them there.
And it's really quite strange to me that Beast thought these changes in communication method would keep things fresh in a substantial way. Who cares how the players talk to each other? What difference does it really make? There's something almost tragic about these rule changes, as though MrBeast knew that what he was creating was fundamentally boring, so he thought at the last minute, maybe if the contestants talked in a circle, that would change everything. It's a 2 out of 10. It's one of my least favorite episodes in the season. Beast Game Season 2, final episode, Game 1. So in the first season, the contestants have to throw balls into each other's holes to get each other out. In the second season, though, what they actually do is kick balls at each other's hearts. 7 out of 10. After that, we have to see a lengthy sequence where the remaining contestants listen back to a pep talk they gave themselves all the way back in the first episode.
Think about those 3 beautiful boys that you have. You need to do this for them. You need to give them a better life.
You know, I do appreciate that MrBeast wants us to care about and know this cast of characters, but I can't emphasize enough, this is not how you do it. It's not interesting that someone could really use $5 million or that they love their families, because these things are true about almost everybody. We all love money and our families.
Your goal is to take care of your wife and give a better life for your kids. Remember what the money will do for you.
No, getting to know people on TV is a little bit like getting to know them in real life. You're not friends with people because they need money. You're friends with them because you get to know them and they're cool and stuff. But Beast Game, for the most part, just refuses to characterize people this way. There's a relationship on the show. Two of the strong people make love, and the guy is like this annoying golden retriever man.
Monica! Calling.
And it's not like either of them are so special, but they're basically the only faces I recognize because they're the only people who get to do anything, who show me something about themselves over the course of the show. The other possible exception here is Jack, by the way, the boy genius. He's the one who cooks the deck in episode 5, and he also has this, like, I think you should leave tier comedy sketch in episode 1, so
now my strategy is to be the friendly man that they want to take with them to the end.
You're not saying I'm strong just because I got a little light bulb? I get it. I mean, listen, the right to bear arms is right.
You know, you are kind of rooting for him. For the rest of them, all we get are these interminable sob stories that make the show feel like homework, and that's not good, in my opinion.
You can buy the house, you can have the kids, pay off Amanda's debt.
Game 2. So this one's kind of convoluted, but basically people have to hold onto a rope until they memorize the arrangement of a block tower. Like a fusion of the first 2 games of the season, I guess.
Red.
Oh my gosh. I don't know, man. I'm nervous.
Blue.
I can't imagine how you're feeling.
This game, this quick little game that ends before it begins, is probably the best thing in the last 4 episodes. It gets an 8 out of 10. Game 3. 3 contestants remain. They're given the option to take $1 million and leave the show. Some guy does that, and we move on.
Brett took the bribe! Congratulations!
I don't know, 3 out of 10? Maybe 4 out of 10 because I prefer it to... Yeah, I think 4 out of 10 is technically what this challenge gets. Game 4, the final game in the show. Yeah, so it's the same conclusion as season 1. The remaining 2 contestants have to take turns putting the $5 million check in a suitcase, and if the other guy chooses the correct case, they win. Twice in a row, MrBeast ends his $5 million grand prize reality show with a coin flip.
Did you hit it? Did you hit the $5 million check? Are you a millionaire?
And honestly, that really captures my biggest problem with Beast games. At the beginning of Beast Game Season 2, I thought it was clearly better than the first season. I even told this to MrBeast, and he said, you know, wahoo! It had more skill, it had better games for the most part, it had a cute little gimmick. But in the end, I do think Season 2 is probably worse than Season 1. A lot of that comes down to the fact that Season 2 takes so much material from Season 1, material that was mediocre in the first place, and just does it again and makes it worse. In the first season, the cube elimination game wasn't very fun, but at least 3 separate cubes didn't just end with a person saying, you know what? I'm gonna go home. The secret bribe game wasn't good, but at least it wasn't terribly long. At least it didn't require us to watch people get buried alive for 20 minutes. The suitcase game was a boring coin flip, but luckily Jeff picked the right option in the very first round, and that was kind of fun. Now we have to see it again and see it for like 15 minutes, and the 2 remaining contestants are literally the same guy. Who is this guy who wins? And who's Corey?
3 briefcases, 33% chance.
Corey, be honest. Do you think you're Lux right now?
In the latter half of the season, almost every game is a carbon copy of one from the first season, and this is on a show with no characterization, no interesting skills being demonstrated, no genuinely intricate game being played. The only thing to watch for is the variety, spectacle, and novelty of these games, and the show doesn't have that anymore. But this suitcase game gets at a potentially deeper problem with this show, and that's that I feel like it's constantly bullshitting me, pretending that it has stakes or depth or emotional weight when it just doesn't. You can't tell me that putting rocks on a scale is some complicated, intelligence-heavy task. I know it isn't. You can't act like it's a big, important deal to bury these contestants alive. They're a foot underground and they didn't need to be buried in the first place. You do nothing with it. You can't have an endless Survivor-style vote where I'm supposed to care about which of these people win because I know that you never told me who this guy is.
I am here for you. If there's ever a moment going forward that you need me to self-eliminate, you need me to run through a wall.
You can't add depth to your obstacle course game or your bribe game with meaningless rule changes. Because I know what watching the same thing for a second time looks like. just be honest with me.
We're taking everything we did in all these rounds and jamming them together.
Fun, okay?
Everything on this show is 1 inch deep, and MrBeast just has to keep looking at me for 10 episodes straight and saying, this is awesome, right? This shit's crazy. We put someone in a box. It's like a simulation.
Beast Games, in its purest form, its existence is a simulation. An alternate world that this year, 100 strong and 100 smart have entered for the very first time. The simulation pushed players beyond anything they've ever experienced before.
So look, it's not great that the last game of Beast Game Season 2 is a recycled suitcase swap. I don't love that. But what really adds insult to injury is that the whole time Beast has to act like these guys should be outthinking each other or something, using intricate strategies.
Is there anything you want to say?
It was well played. Appreciate it.
Anything you want to say to him before he shuffles this? It makes a $5 million decision that impacts both your lives.
For the end of the game, both players start just putting the check in a random suitcase with their eyes closed because they're not interested in trying to bluff.
I literally have no idea what briefcase it is in, right?
Really?
So that way, he can't read me.
And MrBeast obviously doesn't like that because the only thing he's ever wanted his players to do is lie to each other.
Eventually, you gotta start lying. We can go all night if you want to, but you chose bluffing. So bluff.
And so he pretends that the contestants refusing to engage with this stupid game might be some big tactical error on their part.
Do you really want to leave $5 million up to chance? Or do you want to take it into your own hands? Just because it worked for him doesn't mean it worked for you.
He won't be able to read me.
Maybe it's a good thing if he can read you, because then you can throw him off.
I got some thinking to do.
But like, we're all watching your show, Jimmy. We know that's not true. You can't convince your contestants or the audience that the suitcase shuffle is a complicated or interesting game because we know, all of us know, that it isn't.
I think I'm gonna go 5.
Why number 5?
Just saw a little bit of a different reaction.
When you asked him about number 5?
Yeah.
All right. Once you flick it open, it's official.
The game gets a 2 out of 10. So basically, yeah, I thought the show was pretty stinky. So that's the end of the video. I really hope you liked it. I imagine that a comment that I'm going to get a lot on this video is, you know, Big Joel, have you seen Dan Olsen's video? Have you seen Dan Olsen's MrBeast video? How do you feel about the fact that Dan Olsen was invited to Beast Studios, whereas you, one of the most prolific Beast scholars perhaps in the world, was not invited to Beast Studios? How do you feel about that, Big Joel? And how do you feel about Dan's video? So I really liked Dan's video. You know, of course I did. It was funny. It was incisive. You know, I look up to Dan Olsen, like I think most people in the YouTube video essay community, and I'm lucky enough to also see him as a friend of mine. But here's the thing, and I'm actually saying this directly to MrBeast, on the off chance that he's watching this, which he said that he would. When Dan Olsen was invited to MrBeast Studios, he created a very critical video essay, which essentially drew a parallel between the arbitrary manner in which Dan Olsen was invited to the property and the sort of arbitrary, chaotic way that Beast Studios is ran, you know, wholly, right? The whole company is defined by horrible inefficiencies, and one such inefficiency was the invitation of Dan Olsen to the studio, okay? That was, you know, bird's eye view, the point of the video. But if I was invited to Beast Studios, I just want you to know, I wouldn't say any of that. Say that I was at dinner at Red Robin with MrBeast and a number of other creators that he invited. This is what I'd be like. Oh my God, thank you so much for inviting me. Wow, this is crazy. 3 weeks later, this is what I'd be doing. Tip, tap, typing, working on a video totally unrelated to the fact that MrBeast invited me to the studio. I might even be writing a thank you letter to MrBeast himself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I might even have an inside joke with MrBeast at some point. You know, maybe I'd be like, just as a for instance, like, you know, you really showed that you had big balls with that one, Jimmy. I might say something like that. I might say like something about the fact that he has big balls or something, you know, just to grease him up, make him happy. Here's the point. If you invite me to Beast Studios, you don't have to worry about what I'll say, about if I'll say something kind of crazy about you. You know what I mean? It'll just be totally just I'll just be smiling, happy. I won't ask questions. I won't ask why. I'll just be there for the ride. You know what I mean? Anyway, thank you to everyone for watching this video, and thank you to my patrons for supporting me.